really important to set up a consistent 3-turn farming team for daily quests in Fate Grand Order. So I'm going to show you how to do that for Ember quests as well as QP quests. I'm going to show you how to set up the team that will work for both in terms of killing it in 3 turns and doing so with a team that is entirely low rarity stuff. So low rarity servants, low rarity craft essences. So let's go. The thing that we need to do is to come to our support list and get a support waiver. Doesn't necessarily need to be a friend because we're just going to use his skills, not his noble phantasm. Then you're going to set your team up to look something like this. Now these two, Emiya and Herc, I'm just using to bond farm. Those 2 slots are open to you. You can put whoever you want in there. They're not going to enter the battle or have any impact on it whatsoever. These 2 are very mandatory because they are low rarity units who have battery skills. So we need specifically Spartacus and Arash, and we have craft essences on them that give them 50% starting charge. Best option for that from a free play perspective is this one right here, this Dragon's Meridian. You can get it from the friend point gacha as well as regular gacha rolls. Very easy to get and to limit break it. I'm also using these to show that you don't necessarily need to have those. You can use event CEs with 50% starting charge, even if they don't buff your damage at all, like this one. So if you play an event and happen to have one of those around, then all the more power to you. If you need to use 3 Dragon Meridians, then that's fine too. That'll work just fine. So then our waiver, and then this final slot is very open. Any AoE Berserker will work here. I use Kiyohime because she has a really fast Noble Phantasm animation and she has a Buster buff on one of her skills. So, again, these two characters are mandatory. Any AoE Berserker, waiver, and then 2 completely open slots. Level these guys up, give them foes, level their craft essences, give them grails if you feel like they're not doing quite enough damage. Last thing we need to do is you need to go to the Chaldea Gate. There will be a couple of missions to unlock Mystic Codes if you haven't already done them. You need to get this one right here. It does not need to be at level 9 like mine is. You can use it at level 1 and it'll work exactly the same way. We're just going to use this one skill that charges a NP gauge by 20%, and it works exactly the same at level 1 as it does at level 10. So right out of the box, it's ready to go. So once we've got this team set up, we're pretty much ready to go. The one thing that I'll take note of here is that we need to level the battery skills on Arash and Spartacus up to 10, assuming we're starting at 50% NP charge. So if we have nicer craft essences, like if I go in here, and I'm going to use, for example, this imaginary element craft essence that gives me 75%, I only need his battery skill at level 6. Because the amount of NP that it charges is based on the skill level, so higher starting gauge because the craft essence means a more relaxed skill requirement, which makes the whole thing easier. So if you have nicer stuff, feel free to use it, but if you don't, then this is the team, and you have to have those skills at 10. Arash's 3rd skill at 10, and Spartacus' 2nd skill at 10. So once we've got it all set up, it's very simple. We're just going to Noble Phantasm 3 times in a row. We're going to use waivers skills and our Mystic Code battery skill to fill our NP gauges and just attack 3 times in a row and clear 3 waves. So we're going to use Arash's skill and then the Mystic Code battery skill. And then Arash is ready to go. And I'm going to avoid using Buster Chains to show that you don't need them if you're doing this correctly. There is the slight possibility that sometimes the, non-saber enemies will survive Arash's Noble Phantasm with like 200 health or something. So if you're finding that's happening, like I said earlier, there's a bunch of ways to make your servants stronger. You can give them a grail, you can give them more foes, you can level up the craft essence that they're using, which will increase the stat boost that they're getting. So once Arash goes and he dies, Spartacus comes in, we use his battery skill, his buff skill, we use waivers, second skill and his third skill. We don't touch the first skill yet, but his second and third, which will top Spartacus off and give him 100%. So then they go, and Spartacus hits pretty hard for a 1-star, so he'll clear this wave with no issue. And then we come to the final, where now we're going to touch Waver's skill. And we will also use Kiyohime's buff skill to make ourselves just a little bit stronger. And then it's done. So if you don't have a 3-turn farming team, this probably takes you a lot longer than what I've just displayed. So setting up a team to be able to do this is a really big deal, both in terms of quality of life and also practicality. Right, when you can log in and get this done in 3 minutes or 5 minutes, and then be done for the day, pretty much, you know, your desire to do so is going to go up dramatically compared to if this takes you a half hour every time you want to run the quest a couple times. So as your desire to do so goes up, that means that you're going to do it more often, which means that you'll have embers on hand more often to level up servants and enhance them quicker and get them ready for use and viable for story content or for events much faster and easier. But it's also there's also a practical concern there instead of just the quality of life. Now the practical concern, you'll notice this quest here ends in 17 hours. So if I was desperate for Saber Embers or Rider Embers, and it's tomorrow right before the reset, you know, there's 1 hour left or 2 hours left, then being able to run this faster means that I can run it more times before it resets and goes away. So again, if I'm desperate for Saber Embers, being able to run this faster means that I can take more swings at it before it changes over to the next set of classes. And that's true of, you know, other things in this game as well. As you continue to progress your account and get stronger servants, because you're able to level up stronger servants easily because of this team, you know, you want to be able to set up 3-turn farming teams for events so that you can run more event missions before the event ends. That kind of thing. So being able to do it faster is a practical concern as well as a quality of life concern. So it took me way too long to set this up. I think it was about a year into my account before I bothered to put together this 3-turn farming team like this. Don't make the same mistake that I did and get working on this quickly. It can't be a day one project because you need to farm a bunch of skill materials for Spartacus and Arash's skills. Not that many, because they're 1-star, it's still quite easy to level their skills, but you'll need to do a little bit of farming there, you'll need to level them up, you'll need to pull those Dragon Meridian CEs. This won't happen from day one, right from the get-go, right? But it will happen, you want to make it happen pretty quickly. So I would say level Mash, level her first skill up to 10, level up your tutorial 4-star until they're at a level that you're happy with, and then I would start working on this team right away, because once you have it, your account progression efficiency is just going to skyrocket, and you're going to be in such a better place right from the early stages of your account, which really puts you in a good place to continue from. So anyways, that's the video. Thank you for watching. Hope you found it helpful. If you have any other questions about getting started in FGO, please put them in the comments. I've been around for a little while. I like to think that I kind of know what I'm doing, at least in some regards now. So let me know if you have other questions, and I will reply or make another video if the topic warrants it. Thank you very much.